Lord, my heart, my soul, oh Jesus, oh Lord, how can I show you how I feel? Ooh, I want to be your servant and give you all my love. Just show me what to do. Every day. Oh, I lay my life before you. Show me how to live. Show me how to live. Show me how to love. Oh, show me how to love. Teach me, Father. Teach me how to give my heart, my mind, my soul. Yes, it is you, Lord. My heart, my mind, my soul, my soul. Hey, hey, my soul, helps to my heart, my soul, oh yeah, What's up, chosen ones, man? I'm back with another. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted for that, but that's my boy El DeBarge right there, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when he started singing, but I was born in 1995, so you know what I'm saying, I really missed out on that era of El DeBarge, and uh, this is a chosen ones video, but y'all know I talk about the ladies and stuff like that, in the dating world and stuff like that as well. But I definitely I'm into poetry, so I write from time to time. Y'all know I do journaling sometimes and stuff like that. But listening, I mean, I was told by my mentor to listen to old school R&B and soul music. So, I actually, funny enough, ran across El DeBarge way before I ran into my mentor. But my mentor got me into a lot of other music, like crazy music that's out here. That is, y'all would know, like especially the women that subscribe to me, y'all would know. I made playlists since like the last 3 years. Just been making playlists. Um, but funny enough, the playlists would be named under something that have to do with me flirting with a woman. So it'd be like, it's under the umbrella of ways that I could be with a woman or around a woman, but I would make a playlist. So to go with that title, ways I could be around a woman, one would be sweet, where I could be real sweet to a woman. I could be sexual, sensual, uh, kinky, and then there's a whole list of ways you could be around a woman. But when you make a playlist and you add in certain songs just for the sweet playlist or for the kinky playlist, I mean, I got a couple already in here. It just adds depth to your game. You know what I'm saying? Your dating life. Um, I just started making the sweet folder. You know what I'm saying? And I put a lot of El DeBarge in there because he's like a light skinned guy. He has like a uppity feel. He has like a high vibrational vibe, and so like he would belong in that. Like when I want to be sweet to a woman, this the type of stuff I would listen to.
With Zyrtex Fast 24-hour allergy relief, find more ways to seize the day.
It's really a chosen one video though. This is my song right here. This is one of my songs right here. I've heard this song
Last night was incredible, baby. You showed me things that I never ever seen. I swear it's unforgettable. Girl, I can't believe the freaking things you did with me. Lord knows how much you delved into my heart. You know you didn't miss a beat with me. And I swear I didn't think you'd go so far. But oh no, I was wrong. You did everything and I can't get enough.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could take, like, because I do poetry and I be around words all day, I've enhanced my ability to grasp what people say in songs and stuff like that. And so the concept of what he was just saying was like, yo, I was wrong. Like, and that's very smooth to say to a woman, right? So secretly, this would belong in my, it would be in my smooth folder, right? Ways I could be. One of the ways is smooth. So I could have threw this in the smooth, but I just threw it in. But I'm just saying, like, that's a line that a pickup artist or a dating coach would not even really use a lot of the time because we're so busy trying to be masculine or just trying to be like more stoic or mysterious. But people forget, man, like when you really like look at the origin of where like stuff come from, like it makes you way more artistic, it makes you way more deep. And like just what he said, that simple sentence, like when you listen to old music and sometimes the new music, but you know it get more like empty and empty as we get older. Like back in the day, like even with Usher in the 2000s, and they was even better. But like then, what I'm trying to say is that you could still one sentence, like what he just said.
But oh no, I know you didn't miss a beat with me. And I swear I didn't think you'd go so far. But oh no, I was wrong. You
Like the concept, I didn't think you would go so far, but I was wrong. Like that's deeper than just like, yo, what's up? What's your number? Da 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 da. And of course, with a woman you just meet, you want to just keep it short and sweet. But when it come time for you to really talk to her, bro, and use charm or use your smoothness or use some of these other textures of character, like you have to be able to do it. And there's no better way than to really study poetry and words and then kind of listen to the music on top of that as a third layer. And then kind of just, it's like, it's smooth. Like, um, so this video was not supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be um, a chosen ones video. Now I could go live and I could probably do all of it in one and just talk, but you know, this is the phase I'm at in my life, very transitional phase of like growing and developing, and so a lot of things be disorganized, and so I try to add organization to my life as much as I can every day. Um, but I randomly just kind of started listening to the music. I just was in the mood to do it. But I got a couple of videos for y'all as far as you know being a chosen one. I got a couple of videos for y'all, and it's chosen ones talk, but it's like this talk could fit for anybody because it's therapeutic. It's really like therapy talk, but it could fit for anybody. But um, um, I'm gonna go ahead and go into it, and then hopefully we can stop by 20 minutes in, and hopefully they don't take my video down just because I had some Elder Barge playing. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious. Um, Maybe they will do that though. Maybe I should have just played the beat. I don't know, bro. They got me scared right now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So the title of this video originally would be Chosen Ones. Don't let the narcissist dangle their love. Because that's really what they try to do. Every day, all day. That's what they good for. They know how to dangle their love. But look, we're going to talk about that right now. Let's get into it. So someone dangling their love, that's a symbol. That's symbolic. So we're not just going to overlook the symbolism of someone dangling their love, because let's simplify, right? Symbols are simple. Symbols are simple, right? Whenever you have a case of someone dangling their love in front of you, that's typically your fault, chosen ones. And we're going to just spin this back on us so we get to the root of it. That boils down to codependency. Codependency is at the root of someone dangling their love around you. The reason we swing on this pendulum of love then no love, or happiness then sadness with people, uh, is because we lack a sense of self. It's not them, it's us. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. It's not them, it's us. Just like I just came on here playing my boy El DeBarge, like that's a small example of a sense of self, meaning I could have been in my head like, bro, I don't know if they're gonna think I'm corny for this or that, but what? I just took a stance and said I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna dance a little bit. I'm gonna be myself, and that's the way you gotta live 24 hours in a day, like in people face and stuff like that. But we're gonna get deeper about it. So it's a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, a good self-image, a lack of a good self-image, and because we lack all that selfness, that's so important. It's living a life at a 90-degree mark. So my therapist talks about, like, you could, if you've been living at a sickness, and you try to flip flop it, it's still sick. But if you want to live at a 90-degree mark, then that's a healthy person at a 90-degree mark. So that's why we're doing this. Uh, and because we don't have that sense of self, we find ourselves ping ponging back and forth between zero, which is enmeshment, over closeness, and fusion. Like I said, what are they going to think about me? You know what I'm saying? This song is real old. I don't know what they're going to think about me, blah, blah, blah. And that's like me having pictures of people in my head, and what they might think, and da 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 da. That's like too much closeness, right? And fusion, right? To all the same, to all the way on the same, like all the way over to the other side, which is cutting off, acting like you don't care at all. And that's why YouTube could be hard for people, like, especially like people like me, because it's like, if you've been through anything in life, which we all probably have, it's like, on one hand, you really don't care what people think. Like, deep down, you know, when you're fully happy, you really don't be caring. But you can't front on the fact that due to society, they kind of did make it to where secretly you really do kind of care as well. So it's like a 50-50 over here, and then a 50-50 over there. So it can kind of keep you in the dark because you won't face what's only 50%. We tend to, as humans, look at the things that hurt us at 100%. If it's not 100%, we tend to say, oh, well, at least I'm breathing, you know what I'm saying? It's good. And so, but that's why we come here today, to bring some light to those shadows and say, no, you do care what people be thinking. And let's clean that up. And sometimes you act like you really don't care, and you cut off. And that's too much separateness. But really, 90-degree angle is truth. It's upright. It's up. You're being upright. You know what I'm saying? You're honest at that 90-degree angle. Like, okay, like if you run from something, then you still cared. You just ran from it, right? What you cut off. So a lot of people make decisions out of uh, what you would call that immaturity, instead of looking at the most mature thing to do at the situation, because we got preconceived notions of the world, like the world is an evil place, and we all know it can be that, but it's not always that. And because it's not always that, it's a consequence behind the stuff, because it's not all, it's just it's unfair, but it is what it is that you have to put your trust in to certain people, because even when we were babies, we didn't know who our mom and father was. We just had to organically just put our trust in. And now, since we could think a lot more and we see that the world could be very, very toxic, our mind has a way of gripping those toxic moments and be like, nah, don't ever trust nobody again, da 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 da. And it may be very true. You should not trust nobody the way you trust your mother or your father, but in the same token, it's like some people you might could trust more. So it's a catch-22, and I'm trying to just open you up a little bit so you could see to remain open, but just be smart and use a measurement stick of like what's toxic and what's not. So I said there's always a push and pull for us to push us one side or pull us to the other side of the compass. That is 180 degrees to push us up to one end or push us to the other. And in that push and pull, we don't have a strong sense of self, right? Because if we had a strong sense of self, we're going to be like a pole or a pole on a rainy day versus being like a flag on a windy day. Um, if that's a good enough depiction for you. uh, so we don't have a strong enough sense of self. That we find ourselves going to each extreme and have a very difficult landing and keep ourselves centered in a 90-degree mark, which is in the middle. And just like me, like I'm imperfect, but I'm perfectly imperfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my room isn't like beautifully done. Like my hair and stuff is not. But when I'm in that 90-degree mark, I just don't. It's easier to. I'm not gonna say I don't care, right? It's easier to not care because, like I said, I'm more like that pole. No matter the weather, it could be hot outside, snowing. That pole is just the pole, right? But the flag, it's still the flag. But when any weather come, especially wind or rain, that flag is like it's so chaotic that it's like I can't really function. I can't really do my daily vlog. I can't really do my, you know what I'm saying? I can't stay grounded in that. Uh, so 90-degree mark is what we aiming for, which is in the middle. Enmeshment or emotional fusion is a symptom. The lack of self is the problem. We learn very early in life to jump on the pendulum and ride it as we relate to others. Our lack of self begins with our family of origin, which is the family you grew up with. Mine would be my sister and my mother. That's where we learn these dysfunctional behaviors that's where we continue to experience the emotional forces that are still within us from our family of origin. I know for me, being around a woman, two women, you would think that because you're the only man that you would get privileged of like having discernment for certain situations. But women, especially like our women, a lot of the time, no, some white women, a lot of white women too, because I don't seen it, and it's not a good, it's not a. I don't like to see it. It is what it is because we live in a world where we gotta do what we gotta do. But just like that mommy syndrome stuff is real. Like instead of them saying, "Oh, he's a guy," you got to remember though they had to. I wasn't just a guy; I was a baby guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's real hard for them too. They go blind and deaf to certain truths and certain non-truths, and you know what I'm saying. And they turn a blind eye to it. Like, can we really raise a guy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know we think we could do this, but is this even normal? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, could imagine that's some of the thoughts women would think at your very early ages. Like, is this normal to raise him without his father around? But we're gonna do it anyway because Sally down the street is doing it, and Bertha is doing it too, and and so it's like it's enmeshment. It's enmeshment from day one because now the sympathy come in of them like my little baby, let me hold him a little closer and let me tuck him in and da 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 da. And you get groomed over time in a different way than you would have been groomed, and in a different mathematical situation. But I'm giving y'all a little insight on my perspective on what I seen, uh, because it was like that in reverse, right? For them, it would be too much closeness or none at all, because my sister's not going to play football. She might actually would have when we were younger, but my mom, it was a mathematic. It was a mathematic. I was just put it like that. Like whenever I wanted to do like my guy stuff, I'm on my own basically. What I'm trying to say, like, and the guy stuff I would do wouldn't be that manly. It'd be like playing the game, or it'd be regular boy stuff. But uh, now when you grow older, more man stuff would be like football, tackle football, like fishing, and just other more male dominated subjects. But even to this day, I'm not all the way like that. I'm just who I am. Like I like to do YouTube. I like to do the artistic stuff still. So I think it's balance. I could do both, but um, I'm not trying to go overboard on this video either. So we're about to finish up. We're really on the last paragraph after this one. So enmeshment or emotional fusion is a symptom. Lack of sense itself is the problem. We learn very early on to jump on the pendulum and ride it. As we relate to others, our lack of self begins in our family of origin. That's where we learn these dysfunctional behaviors. That's where we continue to experience the emotional forces that are still within us. And here's the last paragraph right here. And that we still experience today as adults. The pendulum swings from one side to the other. However, we are two sides, but those two extremes are actually two sides of the same coin. The same coin is fusion. It's the same coin is fusion. Fusion is like this. This is a healthy relationship. This is an unhealthy relationship. This is a healthy relationship. This is unhealthy. Meaning I think I know what this person is thinking, or I can feel what this person feels, or all of that stuff is just, you know, not the stuff, that's not the stuff that you feel when you first go out on a date with this person. You know what I'm saying? When you first go out on a date, you respect the boundaries. You're like, I don't know what this person thinks. and its humble beginnings. They call it the honeymoon stage. Either we enmesh because of fusion or we cut off because of fusion. If someone is cut off from someone, then I know there is too much enmesh. They're either too much enmesh and fusion, or if someone is enmeshed or codependent, fusion is a problem on either end. And maturity is about gaining some sense of self, less fusion and more distinctness and differentness from for ourselves, not from, but for ourselves, and having a healthy separateness as well as connectedness. So hopefully y'all learned something from that video, man. And it's really got to do with letting people dangle their love around you, and you'll see it all in your days. It sporadically come from anywhere and everywhere. People who you would not even really care whether they loved you or not. A lot of the time, um, it's manipulation at its best. You know what I mean? It could come from teachers. It could come from basketball coaches. It could come from girls. You'll typically see it coming from girls, but there's guys who do it too. Uh, so it go both ways, but you just want to be careful and keep an eye on it, because either way it go, someone dangling love over you is something that you don't have to tolerate. Uh, when you're stable, when you're stable within yourself, people could do what they want to do. Like I said, like a pole in any weather, you're stable, right? The science, the mathematics and the science, you just don't, you're constant and you're strong, right? And because you're strong, it's just harder to knock you down because you're strong. And that's really what is missing in the equation of society, right? With young men, is their stability. If I could name one thing, it's the stability. And I go for everything, even being consistent on YouTube. Like I said, you can't care what nobody think about your hairstyle. Like you can't care what nobody think about your, anything. Like you just gotta post. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like a thing you gotta post. And so that concept transcends. It goes beyond anything I can name. So you know what I'm saying? A lot of women say they want someone who cute, they want somebody who young, they want somebody who this and that. But deep down, they just really want stability. Young people tend to be more stable than old people. So that's a clear sign right there that you're really subconsciously looking for stability. You know what I'm saying? And young men tend to go for older women for the same reason. Stability. It's stability that rules the world. You know what I'm saying? Stability. And so when you look at that and stare at that word stability, you're like, yo, all you got to do is start asking yourself, what's the more stable answer? You know what I'm saying? Should I do this or should I do that? What's the more stable answer? And it might be hard to still make some of those self-fulfilling answers, but all in all, it's your life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing more empowering than that realization right there. You know what I'm saying? Taking your power back, taking your life back, and just owning it and saying it is what it is, and being possessive over your own life. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to end this video though. Um, y'all can like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how y'all feel about it. I got more content for y'all on the way, but this video is 30 minutes in, so yeah, yeah. I got some more content for y'all though. one of the videos is just about staying calm under pressure. Something that you learn and stay in your stability. You don't learn that you learn it in your instability too, but sometimes life could be so consistent with making you unstable that you're not even really catching a break to be able to survey, pay attention to, like, how do I stand stable in situations? And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit under pressure. We're going to talk about how to leave, how to bid a farewell. And that could be in mid conversation with somebody. It could be, you know what I'm saying? We're just going to talk about becoming more real and more actual and speaking your mind, just being more able to communicate, because I feel like a lot of issues in the world also come out of lack of communication. You know what I'm saying? You recognize it. Like, most people who get into horrible situations, it's because they don't know how to get out of them. It's not because they got into it. It's just because they ain't know how to get out of it. That's all. You don't got to be scared if you know how to get out of it. Like, it's the being stuck where the fear really, you know what I'm saying, pervades. Mm. Yeah, I'm about to end this video. All them little playlists I was telling y'all about is on the other channel. On my other, I could go ahead and click over there real quick. We're on the road to 500 subs. Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about numerology and astrology and stuff like that. Because this guy, GG33, been all over the internet. And I feel like he got some good content about numerology. And I feel like numerology is science. And I love science. You know what I'm saying? So I'm open to science. Like, I don't look at it and be like, oh, I can do this and can't do that. I look at it and I'm okay with it. Like, I love science. So when I click on my other channel, and I got all my playlists. I can't see, but I got all my playlists in here. I got like little random beats off of YouTube that I was trying to play with playlists and stuff like that.
Switch to new Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel. Its triple action formula relieves sensitivity, helps restore gum health, and rehardens enamel. 3 issues with 1 answer. I recommend new Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel.
They making me watch that whole thing.
Hey, Savvy.
Nah, that beat, I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, bro. I got some songs though. And we gotta stay in this therapy lane for this next week, because I'm gonna talk about other stuff. I'm gonna touch other topics, but we gotta just be focused on this therapy stuff, because it's like with that, you gotta stay consistent. Cause I noticed it. You know what I'm saying? I've been here before. You gotta stay consistent with that. If you wanna really make change in your life, you gotta stay on top of that, because that's something that could sizzle. That's something that could sizzle out. That's something that could sizzle out. That's something that could sizzle out if you don't stay consistent. If you don't stay consistent with it, it could sizzle out and it could become something different than what you originally had it to be. Um, I got Still Your Girl music. I don't know why I wrote that. Smooth talker music. And I got sensual and I got sensual right there. If I want to be sensual with a girl, I will play this playlist. I think about the day I met the perfect stranger. I think about us. And I think about the day I got wrapped around your finger. And like, just to be honest, that's super smooth, right? Because look at it this way, y'all. Like telling a girl you wrapped around her finger is corny if you say it the wrong way. But if you say it in the right scenario, or use it in a different way, use the same words in a different point in the conversation. You can even be like, "You think you got me wrapped around your finger, huh?" But like you switch, you alternating the whole sequence of the words, but the sentence is still kind of got the gist of the same thing in it. It's built with the same ingredients, and so you're pushing that wrapped around my finger message, right? Or you could take that and talk about her being wrapped around. Either way, those words hold poetic elements. And so, but it took me to listen to him for him to spark my creativity. Now, of course, when I'm doing my own little poetry, I could come up with something, and I do it all the time. But that was already creative, right? So you could use that. I think about us. The sun was shining on you. The Lord was smiling on me. And love was calling us. I had my mind made up. And I can't stop loving you. I can't help myself. And I'm just going to intertwine and come in here and say something about that. So I can't stop loving you, right? Now, sometimes I talk to girls and I just throw that type of depth because he talking to someone you could tell he either knew already, right? Not someone he just met. But sometimes you could just meet somebody and still chop it up like that, and it could break that rapport. That it could break that rapport that would not be there. You could just do what you want to do. So I'm gonna end this video on that note. I'm gonna see y'all.